Folks, welcome back to Nostalgianomics. I'm going to warn you, this video is going to be uncomfortable. You're going to see a lot of data I'm about to show, and you're going to hear me say a lot of things that you're going to be uncomfortable with, you may or may not agree with. And you can let me know in the comment section afterwards, but I urge you to go into this video with an open mind to see what I have to show, because I feel it's my duty as a content creator to protect my viewers and my audience and call out these things in the community when I see them, because I don't want to see people get hurt. I don't want to see people lose money. I don't want to see people get angry and lose the hobby and leave the hobby, which is what I see happening the same way I saw it happening during the big vintage explosion during the 2020-2021 boom. And a lot of people got hurt then. And I see a lot of people about to get hurt now. So what I'm talking about is CGC grading. Now, CGC has been very popularized lately, and that's not by accident. That's not by accident by a long shot. That's by very intelligent design. CGC is actively paying your favorite creators large sums of money in sponsorship deals and even giving them sweetheart deals in grading. They're paying much less than what you're paying to grade your cards in order to push their service onto their audience. And they may not know all the data I'm going to show you, and that's fine. So they may not know what they're doing, but it's at a detriment to their viewers. It's harming their viewers and collectors. And contrary to what most people might think about, buying raw cards, grading, and either holding or flipping, there doesn't always have to be winners and losers, right? For you to buy a card, grade that card, and sell it to someone, they don't have to lose just because you made money, right? We've seen countless PSA and other grading company cards rise in value over time where, you could make money investing or holding that card in your collection the same way the person that sold you that card made a margin by buying it raw and grading. However, we're seeing a very different outcome happen with CGC cards. And I just have to show you this data so no one else out there gets hurt. Now, I've been called conspiracy theorist talking about the cabal. And if you've followed me for a while, you've probably heard it before, but I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about so it makes a little more sense what I'm talking about. It's very real. So let me share my screen. I'm going to show you the definition of cabal first. A cabal is a group of people who are united in some closed design, usually to promote their private views or interests in an ideology, a state, or another community, often by intrigue and usually without the knowledge of those who are outside their group. So, this is exactly what we saw happen during the big vintage explosion in 2020, 2021. You had a group of people kind of at the top of the hobby, whether they were talking in Discords or closed chats or phone conversations, whatever it may be. But they all pushed the same thought process. They all pushed the same cards. And incidentally, they all owned the same cards and same items. And so what we saw back then was we saw things like this. We saw things like the base set Charizard and a PSA 9 go from a couple $100 to a year or so later worth, this chart only shows $4,900, but it was well in the $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 range at the top. And then what happened was a lot of those people who pumped it, the cabal, they all dumped all their cards, made thousands of dollars, lined their pockets with all of you, the collector's money, and dropped it on them. And now it's barely worth $1,000 a card. Now, a lot of people got very hurt during this. A lot of people left the hobby for good because of all the money they lost. A lot of collectors said, yeah, I'm not going to collect anymore if there's this much swings. And people were hurt. And I see the same thing repeating itself with CGC grading because your content creators are pushing it without knowing the damaging effects it's having. What do I mean by that? Well, first off, I'm going to show you. Here's some recent auctions that ended. Down here at the bottom, you can see this is the first edition base set PSA 10 Charizard. It sold for $240,000 at auction August 25th. Now, if you were listening to your favorite content creators, favorite people pushing CGC, and you graded that same exact card, first edition base set Charizard, with CGC and got a 10, it sold a week later for $168,000. This poor person lost out on $80,000 almost by grading the same exact card with CGC and not PSA. $80,000. It gets worse. The bottom is really falling out now. This is the latest eBay sale. CGC 10, first edition base set Charizard, listed with Probstein Auctions, which is a very respected auction house. Usually their cards go for a little over market. $76,000. Absolutely flawless card. The same card sold a week ago for $240,000 in a PSA 10. I hate seeing this. I hate it. I'll show you some other examples. Here's a base set unlimited Blastoise CGC 10, $1,091 September 3rd. Here's the same card in a PSA 10 case, July 2nd, 2125. Over double. You lost out on half the money putting in a CGC case. Now then people say, well, Alex, that's why CGC made pristine. Because it's the upper echelon. PSA doesn't have the upper echelon grade. Like Beckett Black Label. Okay, no problem. Here's a first edition Fossil Gengar in the black and gold CGC Pristine 10. Ended at auction September 3rd, $2,800. Okay. PSA 10. This is the old PSA case. This is the 20 million certs. Most people want the 40 million. Most people want that 4 or higher. And they're willing to pay more usually. Usually these certs go for less. It still went for $3,950 August 14th. About 30 or 40% higher than the same card in a CGC Pristine case. And those numbers are only falling for CGC. These poor collectors being duped into it are losing value by the day in those CGC cases. Now, then I get told, well, Alex, CGC grades faster so you can get the cards back and you can flip modern. Can you? Here's a modern card. Here's the Paldea Quaquavel. CGC 10, $1,550 plus 5 shipping. Are you really making any money? You got the 10. You won the game. This is what a PSA 9 would go for. You won the game. You got the 10 grade. But after grading fees, shipping fees, do you really make any money with the cost of the card? What does that same card sell for in PSA? $57 plus 5 shipping. $49.99, $79.99 or best offer. Here's the last one at auction. $60. Just waiting another 30 days maybe for a PSA card. Then people say, well, Alex, what if I can't wait? What if I want to be first to market? I want to get them in, get them out, and make quick profits. Can't do that either now. Everyone's on to the CGC game. No one wants it. What do I mean by that? Ruler of the Black Flame. This is the Obsidian Flames of Japanese. There's no PSA cards really graded of it yet, so you had to hurry up and get CGC, but guess what? They're not worth any money. People graded the cards really fast, got the 10. They're going for $5.50. That's not even the grading cost. That's not the cost of the card. That's not shipping and fees. These poor people are getting duped into losing tons and tons of their money. And I'm afraid because a lot of collectors are probably going to lose the hobby because of what's happening to them. And people will still continue to say, well, Alex, it's so much nicer being able to grade my cards for $12. And then if I buy their overpriced membership, which is $299 for the elite, $300. That is 3 times the cost of PSA's membership. And then what you get is a big 20% savings, which sounds like a lot, but 20% off $12, you're still paying almost $10 a card. Where PSA, you're only paying $15. So your question is, do I really want to pay $5 less a card to get a slab that really isn't worth anything, right? I mean, the slab isn't worth anything, right? The slab isn't worth anything. The slab is worth so much less than a PSA. So you're going to get the card back a little faster. You're going to pay $5 less to lose tons of money, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars? That doesn't make any sense. Also, you're seeing this so popularized by your favorite YouTuber, so you think CGC is a giant company in the grading. However, let me show you the real numbers. PSA does 1.23 million cards a month. CGC isn't even second. SGC is. CGC's third, barely over Beckett. Over the last year, PSA has grown 38%. CGC has lost 38%. PSA took all their market cap, and they're going to keep doing so. And then people will say, well, Alex, look at this number. Look, I can't prove this. This is speculation. I think the reason this number has been so high for the month is because CGC recently said you can send in your 9.5s. We'll switch them over to 10s for you and send them back for free. So what I think they're doing is counting those as grading. And so all the people sending in their 9.5s to get that 10, they're counting those as actual grading. And that's why their numbers look so high. I think we're going to see that fall off a good amount into the future. However, that's what's happening. They're down 38% for the year. PSA's up 38%. Also, this is just a little fun conspiracy I wanted to throw in there. It's weird how the initials are CGC, isn't it? And I talked about the Cabal earlier. CGC? Cabal Grading Company? I'm just saying, right? It is very odd how the same people, a lot of the same people who are pushing the vintage the hardest, all the same group, that same close-knit group, they're all agreeing and pushing CGC onto their audiences and in their Discord groups and other places. It's a very strange phenomenon and it's dangerous. And the reason I'm making this video is I feel it's my responsibility. I don't want to see people get hurt. I want you to know the real data, the real numbers, the real sales that are happening so that you might rethink who you grade with or who you store your value of your collection with. Because look, again, there doesn't always have to be winners and losers. People think that because you buy a raw copy, you grade that card, you sell it to someone, you made a premium, you made a margin that they somehow lost. But what if that person held that card and over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, it goes up in value? They still won. And the next person, and down the line, it could continue to happen. There doesn't always have to be winners and losers. You can actually win with your fellow collector, with your fellow hobby member. You don't have to be the enemy. We're all friends. I'm also going to reveal this. I can't reveal the names or the data, but the highest level, the whales, not the people you probably listen to, the people maybe grading hundreds or maybe even 1,000 cards a month. No. I've talked to the top of the hobby, the people grading tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of cards a month. You heard that right. I'm not embellishing. I'm not making those numbers up. I had private conversations. And these people told me, yes, we grade primarily with CGC. I said, well, why? They said, well, I'll tell you why. CGC gave us very, very low grading cost offers. We approached PSA and PSA would not do the same. And so it was in our best interest business-wise to do so. But if PSA would get anywhere close, we'd happily go back to PSA because we know that's where more value is. This is what the whales of the hobby are saying. So I'm just going to leave you with this. Please make up your own mind for yourself. Look at the data for yourself. And don't listen to the loudest voices, the biggest YouTubers that may have CGC sponsorships and partnerships pushing CGC grading services. And don't listen to the biggest sellers selling these cards onto the unsuspecting victims on eBay or on different auction platforms because the cards aren't holding value. And so in this case, there are going to be very real winners and losers. The ones selling the CGC slabs are the winners, and the ones buying them and holding them are going to be the losers. And we're seeing that already. As always, let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, you can continue this conversation more in my Discord. That's in the description. It's free. Invite to everyone out there. Other than that, I will be back here in a new video soon. I'm out.